Look at this image, a single glowing marble suspended in an endless, freezing vacuum. If we look at our immediate planetary neighbors, we see radiated, barren landscapes that are completely dead. Yet this specific rock is crawling with oceans, forests, and billions of living organisms. That thriving ecosystem did not happen by chance. It operates on a massive, invisible architecture of physical forces. We are going to take that architecture apart to see exactly how it works. To understand this planetary engine, we have to correct a common misconception. If you picture Earth as a perfect, static sphere, you are missing the reality of its physical structure. When you map a perfect geometric circle over the planet, you can see it doesn't quite fit. Earth is actually an oblate spheroid. That means it is slightly squashed at the top and bottom poles and bulges outward around the equator. That bulge exists because the planet is rotating at over 1,000 miles per hour. The immense centrifugal force from that spin literally pushes the rock and water outward at the middle. This irregular, bulging shape is our first major clue. Earth operates as a massive, dynamic engine in constant motion. Across the surface of this moving engine, liquid water covers 71% of the area. Across the entire known universe, finding that much water in a stable liquid state is exceedingly rare, but that water sits on a surprisingly delicate foundation. If you were to slice the Earth in half like an apple, the rocky outer crust, the lithosphere, is proportionally as thin as the apple skin. Where that thin rocky lithosphere meets the watery hydrosphere and the gaseous atmosphere, you get the biosphere. This is the precise, narrow zone where all living organisms exist. Despite the sheer, massive volume of the planet beneath our feet, 100% of all known biological life relies entirely on this incredibly fragile, razor-thin boundary layer on the very outer edge. Above that boundary layer sits the atmosphere, a lightweight mix of nitrogen and oxygen. Surrounded by the absolute vacuum of space, what stops all that gas from just drifting away? Look at the glowing blue edge in this photograph. That halo of gas is physically pinned to the curvature of the planet by gravity. Earth has the exact mass required to hold those essential gases tight, without being so heavy that the atmospheric pressure crushes life below. Look at the surface of Mars by comparison. Because Mars is significantly smaller than Earth, it generated a much weaker gravitational pull. Over billions of years, its atmosphere simply bled out into the vacuum of space, leaving a dry, barren rock. Earth's precise physical size is a functional mechanism. It is the exact mathematical weight required to keep us from suffocating. Down on the surface, temperature control relies on that spinning motion we tracked earlier. Earth completes one full rotation every 24 hours, acting as a planetary thermostat. By constantly turning, the planet ensures the sun-facing side never bakes into a desert and the dark side never freezes solid. Heat is constantly absorbed and then quickly rotated away. As the solid rock spins, it drags the atmosphere and the oceans along with it. This friction drives massive, swirling global wind patterns and ocean currents, continuously pushing heat and moisture from the equator toward the poles. Without that continuous spin, the global water cycle would completely stall. Weather systems would freeze in place, rain would stop falling, and the crops that feed 8 billion people would immediately fail. But the most critical piece of life support hardware isn't on the surface at all. It is 4,000 miles straight down, where a churning ocean of liquid iron and nickel spins at the center of the planet. As that molten metal sloshes and spins, it generates an invisible, massive magnetic field. It erupts from the poles and wraps the entire globe in a structured, protective wireframe bubble. We need that bubble because the sun constantly blasts out solar wind, a lethal stream of radiation. When it slams into Earth, our magnetic field catches it, bending the charged particles harmlessly into deep space. If that deep core iron dynamo ever stops spinning, the magnetic shield would collapse. The solar wind would strip our atmosphere away entirely, boiling the oceans and leaving the surface completely uninhabitable. From this distance, the blue planet reveals itself as a cohesive system of overlapping engines. You are looking at the exact mathematical mass required to hold the air, the oblate spinning shape that regulates the climate. the paper-thin crust supporting the biosphere, and a molten magnetic core shielding it all from destruction. Every time you feel the wind against your face, or walk on a patch of soil, or take a single breath, you are directly experiencing these massive planetary foundations doing their job. Earth is a finely tuned, highly interdependent machine. In a completely hostile, irradiated universe, it is the only life support system we have.